We'll usher it up. Hello, Agent Salbuchi again. In my recent video on the 12 triggers to usher in a world government, I referred to some of these triggers and what's happening in June of 2010 as I am speaking. But I also mentioned that the Bilderberg people, the Bilderberg Conference, had taken place at the Hotel Dolce Sitges near Barcelona in Spain from the 3rd to the 6th of June, and that in that conference a lot of fighting took place, internal bickering amongst the two major power factors within the Bilderberg Conference, within the global power elite. There is one sector, so to speak, the divide line, that wants to continue being subordinated to the international Zionist objectives, always prioritizing the national interest of the State of Israel over the national interest of anybody else and the common interest of the entire planet. And then another group that seems to be increasingly fed up with these people. Now, what's interesting to see is that the Bilderberg list includes, just so you have an idea, a whole series of people that really show you who run the world. We have the chairman of Deutsche Bank, we have the chairman of Barclays Bank, we have the chairman of Telefónica de España, the telephone company, the chairman, or the CEO rather, of Telecom Italia, the executive chairman of Banesco, one of the major banks in Spain, the chairman and CEO of the Cisneros group of companies, a guy by the name of Gustavo Cisneros, who is Venezuelan. So Hugo Chavez, take note of that. The chairman of Coca-Cola, the chairman of Fiat from Italy, the chairman of Airbus, the airplane manufacturer, former General Thomas Enders. We have the chairman and CEO of the Washington Post company, Donald Graham. We have the chairman of Microsoft, Bill Gates, naturally, he couldn't fail us. We have the chairman and CEO of Alcoa, the founding partners of Kohlberg Kravis Roberts, KKR, the major investment group. We have the chairman of Siemens, the electricity, electromechanical, electrical engineering company from Germany, the editor-in-chief of The Economist, the president of the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, who helped found originally the Council on Foreign Relations, the chairman of Royal Dutch Shell, the director of the Office of Management and Budget of the Obama administration, Peter Orszag, the Minister of Finance of Greece, the here's one of my favorites, Richard N. Pearl, resident fellow at the American Enterprise Institute and one of the mentors behind the Project for a New American Century, the Neocon project, which ended in the destruction of Iraq, inspired the entire Bush government and is responsible directly for all the policy emanating from the Pentagon during the Bush years. We have the chairman of Techint, Gianfelice Rocca. I mentioned that because Techint is an Argentinian company. This gentleman is also a Trilateral Commission member. We have Robert E. Rubin, co-chairman of the Council on Foreign Relations, former Secretary of State and advisor to the Obama regime, also a CFR and Trilateral Commission member. We have the CEO of the Italian oil company Eni. We have the vice chairman of the Social Democratic Party of Germany. We have Her Royal Highness the Queen of Holland, Beatrice, and we have Her Royal Majesty the Queen of Spain, Sofia. We have Lawrence, by the way, the Bourbons from Spain are allies, traditional allies of the Mountbattens of England. That's why they work together. That's why they created an oil company out of nothing back in the 80s called Repsol, which took over Argentina's oil company, which was sold at a horrifically low price by one of the most treacherous presidents we ever had, Carlos Saul Menem. But behind Repsol you find British Petroleum, and it would have looked very ugly for Argentina to sell its petroleum, its oil directly to the Brits, so they used this in-between with Repsol to do it for them. We have Javier Solana Madariaga, the former Secretary General of the Council of the European Union. We have Lawrence Summers, the Director of the National Economic Council, also a CFR member, and he was the Dean of Harvard University. Here's another of my favorites, Henry Kissinger. You have also Peter D. Sutherland. He is the chairman of Goldman Sachs International. Does that ring a bell? And he is also the chairman of British Petroleum. Does that ring a bell? Trilateral Commission member, Council on Foreign Relations member. We have Paul Volcker, the former governor of the Federal Reserve Bank of the United States of America and the chairman of the Economic Recovery Advisory Board for Obama, North American chairman for the Trilateral Commission, CFR member. We have Jacob Wallenberg, chairman of investor group AB. We have James D. Wolfenson, the chairman of the Wolfenson Bank. We have José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero, Prime Minister of Spain, Robert Zoellick, President of the World Bank, Vandeline von Bredow, and Adrian Wooldridge from The Economist, which is I consider to be the most important weekly news and public affairs journal that exists. It's printed in London, it's issued in London. The Economist has always been sort of a spokesman for the insiders, and their offices are just a stone's throw on St. James's Square in London from the Royal Institute of International Affairs, which is a sister organization of the Council on Foreign Relations in London. They were both founded together. I mention all of this just to give you an idea of how these global networks work. It's the people that count, and it's the people's insertion within the power structure that counts. So the Bilderberg Conference is definitely way up on the pyramid of power. They're above the CFR, they're above the Trilateral Commission, they're above the American Enterprise Institute, they're above the Royal Institute of International Affairs. They are key decision makers, and they're fighting amongst themselves because they're in trouble. So if the global power elite are in trouble, and they're going to get themselves into more trouble, and a part of them, the pro-Zionist power elite, is willing to unleash a global conflagration, a world war, a nuclear war if necessary, we have to keep that in mind, because that weakness means a lot of danger for mankind, but that weakness also means that there's a fighting chance. I want you to see, please, one of my other videos, very recent, that the global power elite are not that strong. They want to make us think that they're very strong, that we cannot fight against them, but we can and must fight against them. I will be very shortly issuing a video explaining the pillars of the proposed Second Republic project, which I'll also be sharing with you, downloading them onto YouTube. Sorry if we don't put more information on YouTube, but we just don't have the time very often, the resources. This is all done with a lot of effort, and soon we will be asking you if you can assist us in any way to bring this forward. Please do so. We are at a turning point in the history of mankind, and it is our duty as human beings, irrespective of what country we're in, to do something about it. Thank you very much for your attention. Stay alert, stay awake, and be ready.